welcome to William Angliss Industry Discussion Panel. My name's Dale Lam and I'm a professional cookery teacher here at William Angliss. We're going to be talking today to Conor Gomes on my left here. Conor is a lecturer here at William Angliss, also has his own restaurant, and he'll tell you a little bit more about food trucks and all the interesting things that he's involved in. We also have Steve Felice, who's an executive pastry chef for G&S Creations. Steve did his Certificate 4 in Patisserie in 2014 here at William Angliss, and a good friend of mine, Mark Normell, chef extraordinaire and consultant and all sorts of things culinary. So we're going to have a little chat this morning, and I think I'll start with some questions to Mark. So Mark, can you tell us what led you to enrolling at William Angliss to do your Certificate 3 in cookery?
When I think I left school when I was 15, Dale, and was lucky enough to secure an apprenticeship at a local pub out in the western suburbs. And I really, even when I was starting my apprenticeship, William Angliss was seen as the best school in Melbourne. Well-resourced, great teachers, great programs, great training programs. So that was really why I was really keen to come to William Angliss. And because I was only 15 as well, I didn't have a car, so it was close to Spencer Street, so it was perfect for me.
Perfect, great. And when was that? How long ago was that, Mark?
1985, Dale.
Jeez, we're getting old.
I know, right?
So how do you think the skills you learned at William Angliss has helped you in your career?
Oh, look, it's helped me a lot, Dave. What it actually enabled me to do was, there was some great teachers and great equipment, but I actually got to mingle with other young chefs. And a lot of them at the time were older than me, and they were working in some of the sort of best restaurants in Melbourne. So it really enabled me to sort of, work with my peers and see some different skill levels. And that's probably what really inspired me to complete my apprenticeship quite young at 19. And then move on from that sort of local pubby scene to work into some bigger and better places. So it was just to work with other really good quality kids who were doing some amazing food, working in some really good places. So it was great for my networking, really.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. So I guess we'll go to Steve Felice. So Steve, how do you think the skills you've learned at William Angliss has helped you in your current role at G&S Creations?
I started, obviously, my chefing experience 6 years ago, so I was a mature age student here. So I already had knowledge about creating businesses and things like that. So when I enrolled here, I pretty much used my time to learn basic skills, learn core structures and things like that, but then also utilise the teachers, asking them questions all the time, learning how to build an hospitality business from the ground up, things I need to look at, because most of the teachers here already had experiences with running their own either restaurant or hospitality business. So it was a really good opportunity to have one-on-one time, pick their brains, and obviously use what I learned, what I heard, to kind of create my own business that I'm still in at the moment. I learned a lot of core skills, and over the last 6 years or so, I've been building them by doing a lot more online courses or face-to-face courses, reading, buying magazines and watching TV shows and just building, constantly
Fantastic.
learning.
And so that sort of interaction with the other students and the teachers who are experts in their field is like with Mark, a similar theme?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really crucial because, you kind of learn different perspectives. Everyone has a different outlook on everything. So you kind of get a broad scale, and then you fine tune it for things for it to work for yourself, pretty much.
Excellent, yeah. And so for you, why is the food industry an exciting industry to be in?
I was lost for a long time. I didn't really have a career. I didn't really finish like a tertiary education. So I was kind of almost 40 years old and thought, geez, what am I going to do for a career? But with pastry, it's so creative. There's so many spins or on, just like a chocolate mousse, you can do so many different things. Pastry is very versatile, but it's also fun. It's creative. And I guess the thing that I love with my own business is obviously I'm customer focused, customer facing a lot. So I get to see the initial reactions from my creations. So I can see good reactions, bad reactions. I know what to tweak. And then, yeah, it's really creative. Yeah. Like you can get lost in it.
Oh, that's great. So Conan, I'll probably go to you now. So can you tell us, similar to the other two guys, what led you to enrolling in and so you did your Bachelor of Culinary Management here at William Angliss?
Yes, that's correct, Dale. So it's actually a bit of a serendipity. So I actually arrived in William Angliss. It was my first day in Australia. So I arrived in Australia like the night before. So the first thing I did was come into William Angliss so I could get my complete enrollment done. And I met at that time there was a lady that was running the entire program, Denise Dwyer, tiny little lady but really huge amount of energy and a lot of knowledge about the industry. I was actually first enrolled into hospitality because I thought that's what we were all looking to do. And then she spoke to me about what I really wanted to do, about my passions, about food and wine, about learning about all things. And she was the one that actually just switched me from hospitality to culinary management. And that was the start of the last 10 years of the entire journey. So I'm really grateful for that little tiny meeting just before I enrolled for the program. So yeah, that kind of led me to it.
Oh, fantastic. So you've given us one example of someone you look up to in the industry. Do you have any others?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best thing about this industry is that even though there's always a lot of things happening, I still find that it's still a small world where you're always meeting people, whether it be your peers or whether it be your colleagues or whether it be customers who end up being people that can inspire you. So I think that's been one of the really crucial things. But locally, I really look up to guys like Chris Lucas, who runs his whole restaurant empire. The newcomers like Kate Reed, who's doing your Loon croissants. I really look after like Stephanie Alexander because I was quite new to Australia. I wasn't really familiar with the Australian way of looking at food, about produce, about the cooking. So I think looking up to the local guys or local ladies and guys and whoever's running the restaurants, that really helped me understand the Australian way of doing things, the Australian culture, the Australian traditions, as well as learning how, just how great we are or how lucky we are, to be in Melbourne, to be able to have so much available of great produce, great ideas always happening. But, for me personally, the best thing is that, especially with William Angliss, whether it be from when it was as a student, now as, I was fortunate enough to be a lecturer, or even now, just very small moments where I get to, talk with guys like Steve and Mark, where all of a sudden, like, I've never met them, but you know what, now I can learn a lot from them. I can learn from their experience and, just little, small connection that really brings me, that I can, from now on, now I can say, hey, I've met Mark, look, this is what he's doing, this is what he's done. How can I learn from him and how can I use that in my life to grow, basically. So I think that's been the best thing.
And we're all part of a group, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's a part. And like even I tell my own students is that, forget the fact that it's a really big world, a really big industry. Just focus on the small little connections that you're making every day, because you're going to be working with them, you're going to be learning from them. If you get to be inspired by them and if you can show them what you really want to learn, then that will really help you go a long way.
So true.
Yeah.
And everything starts with a conversation, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just don't be afraid. If you want to learn from them, please always ask, because I find that in Australia that if you are keen enough to learn, and if you can show the other person that you're keen enough to learn, I think like in Australia, they're more than happy to give a bit of their time and teach you if you're going to be the person that's really keen to learn.
So again, that networking is really important.
Always, yeah.
So Mark, I'll go back to you. Can you share one of the most rewarding experiences in your career?
Yeah, sure, Dale. I think for me, I've had a lot of amazing experience, but one thing which really comes to mind, it was in 2010, and for this one amazing day, took months and months and months of planning, and that was the first time that I was invited to cook with and host the Iron Chefs from Japan. It was the first time they'd been to Melbourne, and anyone knows the Iron Chef program, these guys are rock stars over there, and they wanted to come to Australia and cook with me at my hotel at the time, so that was really exciting. And it was rewarding just because the amount of effort we put in, not only myself, definitely not myself, but the whole team, to make that one day go well and make it amazing and make them have fun, and all the planning, the theming, sourcing food from around the world, around Australia, setting up the room, working with front of house, my general manager, that massive team, just to make one day seem so smooth. And just had such a fun, and it was such a buzz as well, Dale. So I think you might have even been involved in one of them.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Which was a great thing for you teachers to be involved in. So that was definitely a highlight for me. And all that hard work and months of planning has sort of opened up other avenues for me now, where I've been to Japan many a times and got to cook over there with them, and cooked at Tokyo Disneyland and hosted food tours over there. And it was just from all that planning and hard work. So that's a little advice I try and even give to my guys in the kitchen now is, our service time is just 10 or 15, maybe 20% of our time. All your planning, preparation, mise en place, designing things is 80% of the work. And if you do that 80% well, that little 20% is fun and you really enjoy it. So that's probably my most memorable time. But I still get just as much joy out of cooking amazing bacon and eggs, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, sure.
Because just do something simple and do it well, it really inspires me, you know.
Yeah. But I guess our industry, you don't know where you're going to end up, do you? And like I said, it all starts with a conversation. You start talking to Jeffrey Tan, who has a connection with Iron Chef or whatever, and then you've got Iron Chefs in your kitchen.
So true. And like what Conor mentioned before, any young person, especially in Australia, what I find is chefs want to share the knowledge, and people in food want to help young people. If you can see a spark in someone, I mean, their attitude, if you can see that positive attitude, you'll give them everything, your recipes, your knowledge, all that stuff you've got over 30 odd years of experience, you'll drill it into people as long as they've got the right attitude. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Conor, what do you love about the industry?
There's a lot of things. First of all, it's been, we really are an industry about people, right? We are either working with some great people and it's all about serving great people, right? So it's always been that connection. Learning stories, learning your customer stories, learning your staff stories. And you can be part of really special days. So things like for example, we do catering. We do caterings for weddings, for birthdays. We've been, like me and my little team, we've been part of probably the most important day of a person's life, and make a small difference, right? Cooking great food, making them feel like family and a celebration. I think that's been really a crucial thing, which we tend to forget, that yes, we make someone's special day even better just by just be able to create something they'll remember for the rest of their life, right? They still, whenever the anniversaries go by, I often get texts or emails by customers saying, hey, I really remember what you guys did about a year ago. People are still talking about the food, really fun, really grateful for that. And besides that, like for me personally, I'm always learning, whether it be about food, whether it be about customer service, whether it be about small, tiny things of how to make a restaurant operation work a little bit better, every day.
Yeah, great. So back to you, Steve. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing in this industry with COVID-19?
Because I also own a food truck, so our business was just 100% event focused, where we did specialised events, corporate events, weddings, birthdays, things like that. So as soon as lockdown came, just the uncertainty about everything, our business just ground to a halt. After the Grand Prix had kind of fallen over, we had lost pretty much $100,000 worth of work just in 5 months. So basically, because we are also a seasonal business, so we kind of operate from September to June, and then July and August is pretty quiet for us. that kind of leads us into a new season. So I guess the challenge is we don't know when events is going to come back. It's probably going to be one of the last things to come back after COVID. So we've taken this time to kind of reevaluate our business and also just look at ways at how we can get our products out to our customers. So we've created an online shop. We've had to condense our ideas into little jars and containers and things like that. Use delivery platforms. Now ours is ice cream, so it's a little bit more trickier in terms of logistics to get our end product at the quality that we wanted. But we've been working hard to try and find out different ways of doing that and things like that. So I mean, COVID has been very challenging, but it's also been a nice reset because when you're working constantly, you can't see the vision of your business or where you want to take it. So in hindsight, it's been a nice reset. We've been evaluating our own business. We're evaluating where we want to go and how we want to be placed in Melbourne.
So creativity, sort of an innovation really comes from constraints in a way. So this COVID-19 has really, some really amazing things coming out of the industry. And,
sure.
You see.
But then it's allowed me to also use techniques that I haven't used since I've left William Angliss. Like I hadn't done tempering of chocolate that much. So, we made Mother's Day chocolate boxes. So I was, on creating new different ways to reach our customers. And also it's a good time for me to reskill again because when you're running a business, you don't have time to reskill at all.
Okay. So probably we'll, go with a few last questions into everybody. So what advice would you give to someone considering entering the food trades? And anyone can jump in here.
I suppose for me, definitely, Dale, any advice I give to a young person is your attitude is your biggest asset, regardless of your skill level. As I mentioned before, if you want to learn, people will train you. Another bit of advice I give to young people is just choose your employers carefully, Dale. We all need to work, we all need a job, right? Yep. But you only get one shot at your career. So do a bit of research on your employer. Don't take the first job that comes along, and just try and find some mentors in those businesses. And you need to work for someone who's, yes, you want to work your backside off and you want to work hard and you want them to make you work hard, but you want them to be able to invest in you as well, whether it be, just your cooking skills or some training or any of the learning sort of thing. And the other bit of advice, and this is something I even hold to myself today, Dale, is continued improvement. Everything can always be better. And just continue to learn because you never know it all. Things are always evolving and changing. Just keep learning. Yep. And the other bit of advice for me is really, really important is have fun. Enjoy it. You have to enjoy what you do. Otherwise, I don't think you can be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve,
I reckon pretty much what Mark said, but also networking and use your own initiative. Like the good thing with hospitality and your skill set, you can always improve. There are always new techniques coming out. Yep. Just be fearless and just go out there and try new things and have fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Conor, what advice would you give to someone entering the foods trades?
Well, probably the most important thing to remember is that you're going to be at the start of a really long journey. So whether you are, just starting off straight after high school, or even if you are a mature student, you are going to be at the start of, your skill levels are low, maybe you don't have enough network. So the first important thing is to not worry about anything like that. Enrolling to William Angliss, you get to network with a huge amount of people from here, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have any contacts. And the most important thing is just engage with your students. You'll find that your colleagues are perhaps working in really great places, so they'll have a lot of knowledge and experience to share with you. Your teachers probably have a lot of contacts as well, so just start the journey, have a little bit of faith with yourself, and of course you have to work hard, of course you have to enjoy yourself, but take the first step. You know, if you really want to learn about food and make it into your, you know, make it part of your life, you know, just start, you know, and make the most out of it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks guys for joining us today. It's been a really interesting chat, and I think what we've got out of that is networking, keep learning and have fun.
Definitely.
So, yeah, thanks very much guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.